Hey yo, what's going on, Bully fam? You already know, man. It's your boy Dre back again with another one. You already know, Jones R Bullies. We have Jones R Bullies coming on today. Gonna tell his story. Where he's how did he start in the bully community and where he went, where he been and where he's at in the bully community. We're gonna talk some dogs and question and answers. You know what I'm saying? So hope you all enjoy this one. Let's bring Jones in the queue. Hey, yo, what's going on, Jones?
What it do, brother?
Chilling, man. So introduce yourself to the people, man.
What's going on? I'm Jones of Jones Art Productions, um, smaller family run camp in Southern Maryland. I've been doing this since 2019, and it's continually grown from one dog to a passion, one of the mainstays in our day to day life.
Most definitely, most definitely. So you said you started out in 2019. So you started out in the era of blow up in the dog community. So from 2019 until now, right? So what blood did you started out in your camp?
Interestingly, I started out.
Matter of fact, question: why did you start out in the bully community at that time? Like, how do you got to say you want to start out in the bully community?
So really, I really didn't know anything about the bully community when I first started. The dog we had in our house was a Pekingese. Uh, we got that for my daughter
Hmm.
when she was 5 years old, and a very good lifelong friend of mine was entrenched in the bully community at the time, and I would always toy with him about getting a dog, and finally he came to me. He was like, I have a young female. If you're interested, when the time comes, if you want to breed her, then we can. So I kind of came in that way, and allowed him to kind of mentor me through the process. And I'm a teacher, so research and education is kind of what I do. So once I started, that was kind of Pandora's box. I just started to immerse myself in educating myself in the culture and meeting people and making connections and things of that sort. But I started off with a friend, Nikos Brown, formerly of Muscle Merrows. So he kind of got my foot in the door, and since then it's kind of been like a snowball effect. Collecting knowledge, collecting friends, collecting acquaintances and all of that throughout the process to bring me kind of to where I am today.
Okay, you know what? Let's back up a little bit, man, because I'm I met you online, right?
Yeah.
We talk on the back line, front line. We're talking a lot of stuff. You kind of surprising right now when you're telling me that you started in 2019,
Hmm.
right? Because you're so knowledgeable when it comes to these damn dogs. That's what I'm getting at. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So you basically telling me as a new breeder, because technically you're still a new breeder,
Absolutely.
if by what I mean by breed standards, you're still a new breeder. All right. And me personally, I could say I've been doing this before you,
Hmm.
but I still got to give you your flowers. You're way more knowledgeable when it comes to these dogs. You know what I mean? But so when it was like you getting into the dogs, like you
Hmm.
what you major in? What dogs you major in? What
You
standard?
mean
What standard?
so? My first dog was a pocket,
Pocket.
a lilac pocket. She was off some edge blood. And we actually, Muscle Merles. He was into Merles. Nikos Brown. We took her to a micro Merle stud in the UK named Little King. Um, I had two puppies in that first litter. Fell in love with the whelping process. Fell in love with seeing puppies develop. The whole process. I was enamored with it, and like I said, ever since then, kind of took off. I had other friends that were into dogs. I have a good friend that breeds Rottweilers. You know, I had a friend that bred Chows. I have a friend that breeds golden retrievers. So, you know, all of that knowledge kind of, you know, I had access to it in addition to, you know, Nikos and his wealth of knowledge in the bullies. So I kind of, you know, once I started, I'm a guy that I'm not scared to ask a question. You know what I mean? So if I don't know, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to go look it up. You know what I mean? So I, you know, kind of put the time in that
S-
regard.
So, question: you say you had with what you said, Nika Merles or something?
Nikos Brown of Muscle
Nicholas Brown,
Merles.
Muscle Merles. Okay, so questions. You saying Muscle Merles was your like your mentor in this?
Yes, he was who brought me into the bullies.
Okay, so basically, too, you went out and did most of the research yourself anyway before you start getting into the bullies. Like, before you start picking, like, hey, this is what I want to get into. You did all that research first, right?
No, I told you. So basically, I had a Pekingese. I had a little
Picking.
puppy. So it started off with a little female puppy. That he, you know, it was a nice puppy, and he was like, I don't necessarily want to get rid of it. I'm gonna place it with you, and then, you know, if we decide to breed it, then so be it. He did give me a warning. He said, I'm going to warn you that this can be addictive. So that's kind of a little joke that we have with one another still to this day. So, you know, he placed the puppy with me. A year and a half went by. You know, she was in her second heat, and you know, we started to research studs. You know, and you know, I was just kind of throwing stuff out there because I was just kind of floating around on the internet trying to learn. And he was kind of saying, "No, let's do this, let's do that." And once we bred her, you know, like I said, everything from there on out was up.
Okay, 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 okay. So but you say when once you got that your first bully was a pocket,
Yes.
but right now, what you got pockets on your yard or you got micros?
I have pockets. I'm kind of trending downward. You know, so that, like I said, that was my first bully.
Hmm.
Excuse me. The second bully I purchased was from him was my foundation female, Lawanda. And then from there, at the time, 2019, Shamrock was a big name. I purchased a stud from him named Groot, Muscle Merle's Groot. He was a Merle stud. It was a Shamrock son bred to a Merle Magoo granddaughter.
Hmm.
Um, so I went out and purchased a female, standard female named Nandi. She ended up champing out champion Nandi, because I was trying to be able to line breed the Shamrock blood. Like I said, young in the game. I knew, you know, some about line breeding a little bit at the time. So I was like, you know, I have the world's only Merle Shamrock son at that time, and I wanted to breed it to um, a Shamrock daughter. You know, so I could have two times Shamrock and Merle. Ultimately, you know, I did that breeding. It turned out nice, but ultimately, you know, again, immersing myself in research, going to shows and things of that sort, I ultimately realized that that wasn't necessarily the size of dog that I wanted. Because
Hmm.
I had Lawanda, who was a phenomenal pocket female in my house, you know what I mean? And I just, you know, I wanted to get smaller. So I ended up moving on from those dogs,
Hmm.
placed them in very nice homes. Nandi, again, she went from my house to rest in peace, Capitol Creek Smoke. She went to his house, and she became dual champion Nandi from then on
Hmm.
out. You're familiar with VMB Ant?
Yes, sir. That's my guy.
So I produced his female Issa
Yeah, tell
was
me about
is
that.
is a Nandi daughter. So that
Hmm.
Shamrock daughter, I
Yeah.
bred that to Gus, who's muscle tone stud top and bottom,
I
and
know we're talking.
we produced Issa off of that litter. Um,
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, so
Yeah, he was explaining that to me, but I didn't get it. But now, yeah, now I understand where he was coming from with that. Okay, okay, that's what's
so
up. So,
yeah, so really, again, I that was the female I had named Rose Queen, female Lawanda, female Nandi. I had those three females. Ultimately, Lawanda was the path. the track that I wanted to go with. So I kind of reshuffled everything, and now everything at Jones Art Productions is kind of built off of the Lawanda tree, so to speak. And she is a daughter of Law, Magoo son Law.
So what generation you're like? What second generation in that now?
Actually, I have Lawanda grandkids at my house now.
Okay.
I may have, is he a great grandkid? Son, grandkid. Yes, I have a Lawanda great grandkid at my house now. So
Okay.
from where Lawanda was in 2019,
Uh-huh.
I had I had three litters off of Lawanda. Four. I bred her four times. She's retired now.
Uh-huh.
But I produced a litter off of Lazarus, who is
Uh-huh.
Heat Wave Lazarus, where I got my female Jasmine from. Co-owned out a couple females, wanted to keep track of them. That was an actual co-owned situation with myself and Nikos Brown. Then I came back and bred her to Beast Mode Chevy, which was a Rocco son and Mr. Bean daughter. Um,
Okay.
and I produced my stud Tahoe. And then
Uh-huh.
I took my two productions together and created a litter off of that. So it was two times Lawanda. So I took those grandkids and then I bred those. I just bred those two females this year.
This okay. So basically Jones Art Production is starting his own line right now, basically.
Somewhat. That's a dangerous proposition. You gotta kind of
Mm,
know what you're doing. Like sometimes I think people rush the process to put their name top and bottom. I think
the way you're breeding though, that's where it's going.
yeah, absolutely. But again, I think you have to breed enough to know what your blood works with, what it doesn't
Uh-huh.
work with, what it clicks with. So Lawanda herself was kind of an outcross. It was a lucky daughter bred to a Magoo son. Um, so
Uh-huh.
structure, bone, all that kind of stuff was there. Um, just trying to figure out which direction I was going to go with it. I dabbled in some Rocco blood, dabbled in some muscle tone, dabbled back with some lucky blood.
So is it fair to say your next couple of breedings you're gonna do right now is like you experimenting with it then right now?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I did now. So I took my Lawanda son
Uh-huh.
and bred it to my Lawanda daughter, and I had a litter. I have two females off of that litter. I took one of those females back to the male Gus that I mentioned previously. He's muscle tone top and bottom. Um, uh, Look, I got so much stuff, but I can we can talk about his paired later. But his muscle tone top and bottom is a very, very heavy muscle tone breeding right there. And then because I told you I'm trending downward, and one of the things I wanted to address was just the overall size of my dog and also the headpiece. I took the
Uh-huh.
littermate sister and bred her to an exotic stud. Um, so really just trying to see. So it's kind of like muscle tone and lucky meat, crown and
Okay.
tri-state.
Oh, you bred straight to the crown? Oh, you
No, it
bred
was
to a crown
a
sons,
crown daughter
a daughter?
bred to a tri-state son. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the exotic world, but that's kind of
A little bit crown when it comes to crown, a little bit, not
yeah.
too
So
dibble dabble in it.
yeah, I went in that direction really to address one headpiece, two, um because I had line bred my female. And she was top and bottom. I was two times, so I was really heavy, lucky, really heavy. Not necessarily heavy muscle tone, but it was heavier lucky than I actually anticipated after going back and researching the pet
Mm-hmm.
because heat stroke and lucky were essentially brothers
Yeah,
from different
basically.
litters. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like that blood was really, really heavy. And it was kind of time for an outcross. So
Yeah, but that outcross though, but you said you was trying to go to a shorter dog. Like you're trying to stay into the micro, but you don't mind going down to like
I mean I didn't mind. So I mean I didn't mind that because again, I had two females, so I bred one of them to my muscle tone
uh-huh,
stud, who was a full size pocket. I bred the other one smaller. She was already a smaller female. So my female that I bred small, she was already a
uh-huh.
slightly under 13 inches my female
Okay.
Raven. So she was already a smaller female out of class. She's super extreme in the spread and the chest, but she was shorter, so she was already out of class. So
Mm,
I was like, okay, I want to keep it short, keep it small. I wanted to change the headpiece. Uh, One of my goals, I really really love the muscle tone phenotype.
yes,
Um,
sir.
that's like I really, really love that phenotype, the shoulder setting, the bone, all of that. I love Lucky's structure. I love his movement that he brings, the rears. But I always wanted to put the Rocco headpiece, so to speak, on it.
Hmm.
And I've done a couple of those breedings, and it's kind of harder than it looks. You know what I mean? But so because I kind of was spinning my wheels in that regard, I chose to switch it up with that last breeding and breed to an exotic stud. And I'm actually very, very happy with the results.
Yeah,
He's
that's what I'm
about
gonna
four,
ask
he's
you.
about two males. They're both about 4 months old.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very, very happy with the results. I kept one at my house, placed one at a good friend's house so I can watch them both grow. There's a couple good examples of that out here now, like some
Hmm.
pocket blood bred to exotic blood. I actually just bred to a stud. I took one of my females to a stud that's bred that way. It's a 51 marks bred to a R2G2 daughter.
Yeah, 51 marks. He's out of Maryland, eh?
I'm not sure what 51 marks exactly is. The stud I bred to is in Virginia. Big fella, Ryan Ivy owns
Right
him.
of it. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so big fella, he was just, he's been all over lately, but I just bred him to my Master Po daughter.
Oh, that's the one that I seen and was stacking
Yeah,
the
he
black and
stacked
white
her.
female.
He had I was out of town actually, and he took and I was going to deliver a puppy, and my photo shoot had gotten rescheduled. So,
Okay.
he was a good friend, and he took her to the photo shoot for me.
Yeah, that female dope. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dope. Like
That's a product of a co-own off of my first litter off of Lawanda. So I sold one of those females on a co-own.
and you got
Um
from Master
and
Po.
and they bred the female to Master Poe, and that was my puppy that I received back.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay,
yeah. So
okay.
not all co-owns are bad situations. Yeah, I've been
Nah,
blessed.
definitely not.
Yeah, yeah, I've been blessed to have entered into some very very good ones that have been good for
that
both parties.
that female. If y'all don't know him, talk. Go. I don't know. He's on your page or is I know he's on
I got
Ant's
some
page,
pro pics of her taken. I haven't put them all on my page. I put some
but
videos of her on my story and stuff, but I'm probably gonna make a post about her. But you can see her as a puppy
yeah,
and
she
stuff on
dope.
my page. Yeah, yeah, she's definitely legit.
She dope. She got
Um,
that bone dome. It
yeah,
got every. She ain't like nothing. She wide as hell.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
You're
mean. I
talking
like
about
that.
Ohms. You're talking about Ohms. She reminds me. Spoke
Orca,
to Ohms Orca. She's
Orca. Yeah,
black with a white chest.
yeah,
Very very similar to Ohms's Orca. For anybody that's
yeah.
knows that. But
Dope,
probably a
dope.
little bit. She's a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter in the back, a little bit more compact.
Okay,
She
okay.
she really did that. So I
She,
took her to that breeding. I took her to that. Really, like I said, I've been trying to address the headpiece. So I took one littermate sister to Master Poe. I took another littermate sister to Big Papa. Both of those dogs have phenomenal head pieces. Really just trying to add some different head shape into the camp.
most definitely, most definitely. Okay, okay. So, any like breeding like coming up in the like near future that you want to speak
I'm
on?
2 weeks in, 2 weeks in to the Big Papa. I'm sorry, my Master Poe daughter. I
Okay.
bred her 2 weeks ago, January 23rd. Drove through the storm,
Yeah.
snowstorm.
Wow.
uh Drove through the snowstorm, got that done. Great business with I believe his page on Facebook is Daily Grind, but he did great business.
Hmm.
Was very accommodating. Drove down there, got that breeding done. um uh so we're 14 days in. Signs are looking good. So
Okay.
hopefully everything's good. And I have that going on. Um I have a China boy breeding going on later. It didn't take
Mm,
this time around, so I'm expecting that early or late spring. Um,
man.
Again, that's another. I tell you, this is my headpiece year. You know what I mean? So that's another
Yeah,
time
yeah.
where I'm addressing the headpiece. Um,
That
and again, I don't
listen,
have a
that
bad headpiece, but I want a very, very round head.
yeah, you want the
So
apple cheeks, big
yeah,
ass
yeah, very,
dome.
very round head. But if you've been on my page and you've seen Jasmine, she already has that. I just want to really lock it in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I have great
I'm gonna say
shoulders. I just want
this.
to lock it in.
I'm gonna say this though. If you're gonna do a China boy, you gonna get that for
Yeah,
a fact. You know what I mean? You know what I
yeah,
mean? That China
absolutely.
boy blood. Well, you know what I mean. But quick question though, kind of jump way ahead. But coming into the bullet community, like, what are the mistakes that you wanna like tell people that you made that they ain't gotta make that mistake? Like, what's one of the major mistakes you ever made,
Um,
especially in breeding?
I coach for a living, so every
Mm,
loss, if you learn something, it's not necessarily a loss,
mm,
and experience is the greatest teacher. So sometimes you
mm,
got to go through it to get to it. You know what I mean? But in terms of me, it's just I would say my biggest mistakes have been misdirection.
misdirection.
Because again, I told you I started off with three different females. Um,
Mhm,
and at the time, I was trying to breed all three of them, and it was kind of taking me. My tree was branching off in different directions. If I could, had a crystal ball and
mhm,
I could speak to myself back then, I'd have said focus, focus, lock in on Lawanda. Allow that to be my path. Because you ultimately end up wasting a lot of time and money doing other things. There are some other camps that have been blessed mightily from those other branches.
mhm.
But for my specific vision, I feel like I was spinning my wheels when it came to those. But again, I still produce quality, nice, healthy bulls that are all over the country,
Mhm.
either as pets or in people's pedigrees right now with those
Okay,
other
so
breedings.
but basically, it's not exactly the route you wanted to go, but that's the route you
No,
went. You need to swing with it.
that's the route I ultimately chose. You know what I mean? If I could go
Okay,
back to it, I would have just stuck with
stick
this
with
one from
Lorna.
the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, because this one actually producing already actually won.
Yeah,
You actually won that
absolutely.
to represent the
Yeah,
Jones
she was the
line
best. She was
production.
the best female of the three. And I was
Okay.
trying to breed myself out of different things and stuff like that, as opposed to starting with the best.
So, quick question: you think that like as new, like as new coming in new in the game, people get kind of anxious and impatient when it comes to these dogs, and they actually get this. They actually write a check. They're asking cash. They get themselves in
Yeah,
so
I
much
mean,
shit.
I think so. I think that sometimes, but I think that it's 2026, so a lot of work has already been done. There are a
Mhm.
lot of very nice pedigrees. There are a lot of good breeders out here. There are a lot of females that are kind of ready to go. You can kind of plug and play, in my opinion. So you don't necessarily. When I first got into it, especially in the area I'm at, you were starting with some older school blood. You were starting with blood with no DAX in it. You might be starting with blood that's directly off a DAX son or something.
Hold on there, Jones. Let me address this real quick. Hey, if you want to interact in the chat, please go to Facebook or YouTube. That's the only way you're going to interact in the chat. All right. Instagram is not connected with the streaming service that I'm using. So if you want to interact in the chat, please go to YouTube or Facebook. Wandangaza Bully, Andre MC Johnson. That's two Facebook right there. And the other Wandangaza Bullies on YouTube. So please work with me. I'm not trying to ignore nobody. I don't need that kind of problem. All right. Head on, Jones.
Yeah. So where were we at exactly?
You said there's a lot of females that's readily available, and you know what I mean. So the
Yeah. So the
work has
work
already been done.
so the work has been done. Again, like I said, I'm new to the game. In 2019 is when I started, and even then, I feel like the game has evolved so fast. But back then, there were a lot more terrier females, a lot more females that were longer in the back that lacked bone or whatever. Now they're quality breedings. You can go on any of these pages on Facebook and you see a ton of quality breedings. You see a ton of dogs that are kind of ready to go. They might not necessarily be in your price point, but I feel like you can spend a little bit and cut the line. You know what I
Cut
mean?
the
And you
line,
can
right?
you can push some of those unfavorable phenotypes further back in the pedigree.
Uh, another old school, old school breeder would say there's no cutting the line. You gotta, what I mean, you gotta play your green on role. Like, what you had to say about that?
Well, again, you're definitely going to play that role in some regards, but you don't have to play that role with the female that you start with. You're going to play that role with learning. You're going to play that role with time management. Am I cleaning out my cages like I'm supposed to? Am I deworming like I'm supposed to? Do I know how to whelp? Am I connected with enough people in the community that I know who to go to um, when I need, medicine or whatever it may be? So you're gonna take your lumps and all of those other different facets, but in terms of where you start, you
Hmm.
absolutely have control over that. You can contact, you can research, you can find a quality breeder. You can look at the pedigree. You can look at, I mean, it's bully decks. You can look at the phenos that you want. You can look at the pedigrees behind them. You can say, hey, I want 5 or 6 generations of the phenotype that I want in this female, top and bottom. You don't have to start with something that's one breeding away from a classic. One, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can start with a complete ped. You can start with a female that's in the class that you want, and you can go from there. Like before, a lot of people were creating. You know what I mean? And we're still creating. We're still changing, but you don't have to start at ground zero. And that's just my opinion. You know what I mean?
Makes it. So you would say, it's okay to go buy a grown female and do your thing.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no rules to this thing. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest issues is we try to slap our own parameters on what other breeders should do. There's absolutely no rules. You know what I mean? We have breed standards that we're trying to conform to in terms of what the dog should look like. But in terms of how we get to that point, there's no rules. You know what I mean? So we're all individual companies or individual breeders, and our meeting point is the show. Our meeting point is the standard, but I can't tell another man how he should get there. You know what I mean? It's like going to the bar. If I like whiskey and you like tequila, we gonna meet at the same
Yeah,
spot.
but
You know what
Jones,
I mean?
you have some people like they start classifying you in a different role where it's like you're not getting a chance to like know the dog how like knowing your dog is good and when your dog is in a bad situation, you gotta grow with the dog. Basically, that's why when I came into the bully community, like I came in from the breeding point. Like I
Hmm.
wasn't like I was doing the reaper part. You know what I mean? And
So
I
they want
start
you to
breeding.
build a relationship with
They
the
want you
dog.
to build a relationship with the dog. You got to know when your dog is ready from when it's not ready. Cause you could go buy a female, and the dog might have aggression issue. It might not showing it right now, but I mean, if you had the dog long enough, cause he's probably coming from a bad camp. Who knows? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely. And I think that
Mhm. Mhm.
communication is big on that. If it's me, I purchased one adult female, or I purchased 2 adult females early on because I understood that there was a waiting period. I started with a puppy, and I had to wait a year and a half in order to kind of get in the race. So the
Mm.
next female that I bought was ready to go. I had to wait a couple months for her to go in the heat. She was owned by a good friend of mine. The next female I purchased was all the way in Florida. I asked a bunch of questions. Is she people aggressive? Is she dog aggressive? This, that. And, as a man, if I ask you these questions, there's a level of accountability that you're going to have with your word. You know what I mean?
I'm in a situation where like me, I can't. Me personally, even if I wanted to, I can't do it because the wife won't even let it happen. Because we got kids and all of that. She's kind of skeptical with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, understood. And
Yeah. So.
again, I take that very, very seriously. I told you we're a family camp, so my
Mhm.
wife and daughter interact with these dogs just as much, if not more, than I do, just due to my schedule. So I'm very, very particular about that. However, I do understand that that's a part of this game. You know what I mean? And if I do get a female, happen to get one that was out of bounds in terms of her behavior or whatever it may be, if it's something that I can remedy with discipline or structure, then so be it. If it's something that I can't remedy with that, like people aggression or something like that, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a very courageous conversation with the
Yeah.
person that I got it from,
Hey,
um,
because
and
we,
then I handle
I'm
it from
saying
there.
these things though, because you already know already.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want to end up in the media, it's going to end up in the media. Oh, I bought a dog from Jones and it bit my
Oh,
daughter, and you know what I
absolutely.
mean.
But I tend to stay off the. People. It's a lot of people that's going to do the internet talking and all
No,
that, and that's kind of a
I'm just
part
saying.
of it.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I'm not saying directly you. I'm just saying
Yeah.
because remember, we talking to people now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We having this conversation and people listening. So I want to
Hmm.
know the younger reader, hey, go jump the line and go get a growing
No,
dog
and
and
again,
don't
like
do
I
your
said,
research.
relationships
But that's what I'm
and
saying.
anything that you do, relationships, um, and just if I could kind of redirect, and the
Hmm.
bullies is just as much about the person, sadly, that it is about the dog. So, and you know some people look at that when they say it's a popularity contest,
Hmm.
and when you look at like studs and who's hot and who's not, sometimes it's like the lunch table, who's the popular kid. But when I say it's about people, I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about your character, the type of person you are. So, you know what I mean? Like if I call you and I want to use your dog, I want to buy something from you, we're going to have some business conversation, but if you're a family man, you just seem to be a good guy, what I mean? I take
Yeah,
that into consideration before I do, business with you.
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. You know what I mean? But uh, but yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. You know what I mean? But because even this view Swear We Cash, it was like plug and play female. So that's why I was like, let you break that down a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's no
So
such thing as plug and play female. No
not
such thing.
so no, I mean, at the end of the day, it's genetics. So we're talking about
Hmm.
billions of sperm, and it's
Hmm.
but what I'm example, if you have a stud,
Hmm.
he is 10 months old. You want to get them going. What I mean? You got 2 months really before you're gonna start to get them going. If you don't necessarily have females in your yard, you go buy a puppy, because if you don't have females in your yard, you are now at the will and mercy of the market of the community. But if
Yes,
you go
sir.
buy some females that have the pheno, or you do some connecting with other camps, then now you can kind of get some production, see what your stud can do, things of that sort. I mean, again, it's all about the relationships that you build, it's all about your intent, it's all about the types of people that you associate yourself with. I feel like if you're putting
Makes sense.
positive energy and intent into the universe, it's kind of going to come back your way.
Makes sense. Quick question though. You mentioned studs and what do you say about people that have studs on their yard and don't use it in their yard and then trying to make credits off of it? Like, what's the idea on that?
So, what to me, say if you have a breeding, right? Say if you do a breeding and you have a very very nice male, and my goal specifically for me, my goal, I want to get a little bit smaller.
Hmm.
Um, but I have a male out of my breeding that's the top of the class. So he is 16 inches, 16 and a half inches. He's a beautiful male, just hypothetically. Um, he still serves a purpose for other people. He might not necessarily serve my specific purpose, for my yard, because my direction is different. But that doesn't mean that he himself cannot serve a purpose for someone else and help to spread my name, my blood,
Hmm.
um, good genetics, blood combination, whatever it may be. So, my thing is, if the reason behind me not using him is something nefarious, like he has a disability or something that I'm trying to
But
hide, then that's something different. But if the
but
reason behind me, so I'll give you another even better
hold on, before
example.
you even go any further though,
Yeah.
but you know people tend to swing the narrative.
Oh,
Hey,
absolutely. But
you know
my
what I
thing is,
mean?
I can't be beholden to what other people think. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
absolutely gonna say whatever. But I give you a perfect example. I have a stud in my yard, Tahoe. Tahoe is a wonderful dog. I love him. But where I am specifically right now, he has served kind of a lot of his purpose in my yard. I plan on using him again, but not on every female in my yard because again, I told you I'm trending towards something else.
Yeah.
Tahoe has done great things for other people's yards. I just posted a collage of a bunch of different breedings he's done. He's done great things for other people's yard. So because I'm not using him at the same clip in my yard, doesn't mean he doesn't necessarily serve a purpose for other people. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. And
Uh,
he's talking
yeah,
a beautiful dog. I know exactly the dog you're talking about. You know
yeah.
what I mean? A mustang dog. I seen him. You know what I mean? But okay, I see where you're coming from with that. You know what I mean? It just I see a lot of time I seen on Facebook where people are like, yo, you trying to sell a dog stud credit for like 2,500, and you never use a dog in your yard. So that's why I asked you that question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
so I mean, again, what the price is, I feel like the price is what somebody's willing to pay. You know, I don't really get into how much
mhm,
they're gonna charge for it or whatever. But in terms of again, like say if it could be a situation where I have litter mates, one of them's chocolate, one of them's fawn, and I wanna put a
mhm.
paint job on everything in my yard. You know what I mean? And
Makes sense.
that other dog, you know what I mean? Like I said, like there could be a million negative reasons, there could be a million positive reasons. You could just choose to imagine the positive ones. You know what I
Makes
mean?
sense. Makes sense. Quick question, kind of going off, but do you do like health testing? What's your views on health testing?
Um, health testing has always been around. Take your
Hmm.
dog to the vet and get them tested. But in terms of the new wave of echocardiograms and OFAs and all that, I think that's very good and it's needed in our community. Um, I'm not against it. I have not uh, engaged in it. I have plans to do so, but I haven't necessarily fully immersed myself in that yet. I think that is coming. Very interesting. I live fairly close to the ABKC, so I go to do my paperwork in person. Um, so it was a couple people in front of me in line, a couple like maybe 2 months back, and I spoke with the lady at the desk. I don't know her name. Um, and I asked her what her thoughts were because the ABKC has new paperwork
Hmm.
now that you can get. And I asked her, I said, I have, decent amount of dogs. Is it worth it for me to, get this paperwork? And she said, a lot of people in the UK are doing it. She said, a lot of their business with those new paperworks and things are coming from the UK. But she made a very poignant point and she said that it doesn't matter if your dog has it, if their dog doesn't.
Mm,
So she was like, if you're a stud owner and a customer comes to you and asks, is your stud health tested? Really the correct answer, could be a simple yes or no, but along with that should be is your female health tested? Because it takes two to tango.
tango,
So
yeah.
if my stud is health tested and your female isn't, what I mean, then are you pro health testing or are you just kind of asking questions.
It's
You know what I
asking
mean?
questions because they can
Yeah,
ask questions. Basically, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and I think some people trying to use that as a negotiation price. If you want to breed to my dog, you breed to my dog. If you don't, hey, get
yeah,
on with it. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And I be like, me personally, I got the same stance on it. Like, I'm uh, I'm not against it, but I'm not really even for it either. I got no plans to like. I got dogs that are tested, but I just L tested for the customer. But when they're trying to like me breaking it down to them, like, yo, bro, listen, I'm gonna give you the information. You could go to whoever break it down from, but I'm not the one gonna be
But
entertaining it. You know what I mean?
but some things are have to be you can see directly in the health test. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Some things you can directly see in the health test. Two dogs that carry whatever genetic. If you put them
Hmm.
together, I mean that's very very helpful. But we know with people, you can have two seemingly healthy humans that produce unhealthy offspring.
Yep.
Because again, we're talking about millions of
Yep.
alleles and
Mutation.
all
The
of that. You know what I mean?
mutation.
So again, I'm not pro or anti. I'm saying
Hmm.
that it's my intent to grow in that area. I'm still doing my research.
Hmm.
I believe is definitely important. But one of the subjects I teach is health.
Health.
And
Okay.
the first question that we ask in the class is, what is health? What is health? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a person that lives 90 years, that has arthritis and diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
versus a person that lives 70 years, that was a marathon runner, or a person that lives 55 years, that was a 60 years, that was a marathon runner and an athlete their whole life, and did whatever, that ended up ultimately succumbing to cancer. You know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? So is longevity health? Is quality of life? Like, there's somewhere in between. And what metric actually are we using to say this is a healthy dog versus this is a
Eh,
healthy dog? Because it's dogs that live outside. It's -2 degrees wind chill right now, and there are dogs that live
Mm-hmm.
outside right now that are happy.
Yeah.
You know what I
Most
mean?
definitely. Let's build for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying with that. You know what I mean? But as I'm saying is, to me, I look at it is, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Basically. But uh, yeah, Cash, you already did that already with the exotic. So
Yeah, so
is
this is
it
my second exotic breeding, or second kind of crossover breeding.
crossover? Okay, cool, cool. So what, like, from these breeding, like, what are the major things you're looking for from that breeding, from the exotic breeding?
Um, the term, well, one thing, just from, it's kind of different things. One, I want to, shorten some backs, change the head pieces. Really, I like to exist at the bottom of the pocket class, and maybe, the top of that
Micro.
micro class. I mean, right there and there, kind of clean, extreme exotic class, and the bottom of the pocket class. I don't have a problem with producing big top of the class pockets, but I like to exist, or I'm trying to exist more at the middle bottom area of that class.
Quick question though, you think like the exotic is a trick with the bone, like that's where you could pull most of the bone from your dogs?
So um it sounds crazy, but a lot of exotic blood
Hmm.
is dwarfism. So
Hmm.
you're experimenting with different types of dwarfism. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know all of the vocabulary offhand, but there's dwarfism in the muzzle. Boxers have that. There's dwarfism in the legs. Hot dogs,
Hmm.
dash hounds have that. There's dwarfism that Frenchies carry. There's dwarfism. You know what I mean? So it's all different forms of dwarfism that come together um, to make these dogs. And you got to kind of align them correctly. I haven't necessarily dabbled in it, but that's the reason why some of the exotics have very, very thick bone, is because they have a form of dwarfism in the limb that is forcing all of that bone into kind of a smaller space. I hate to be insensitive, but most I don't know what the term that people are using today to refer to smaller people. Um,
A lot of
but
people.
little people, a lot of
Hmm.
those individuals have what we
Yeah,
would consider big bone as well. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
I don't know if that's the same type. It's just an outside observation, not not intended to offend anyone.
Nah, nah, it's just facts, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You can't add the facts. But I was talking to a breeder on the back line, and he was telling me he dabble into the exotics because he pulled, whenever he do that with his blood, he always pull a lot of bone
Hmm.
from that. So that's what I was asking, like if that's something that you're trying to add more bone to your dogs, or you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely. If,
Because
if that's one of
people
the
people don't want the head; they want the
yeah.
bone from those exotics
So
most of
I
the time.
already I already kind of am fortunate to have a decent amount of bone. But if that's a byproduct of it, then great. But to me, again, that round soccer ball apple cheeked
Yeah.
head, like, if you just right now imagine Crown, that round head, or imagine even Poe. I bred the Poe. He has like those apple cheeks, or Papa, that round head. As many of those round heads that I could put in my pet, I want it. So because I want to
Mhm.
keep it, you know what I mean? I want that to
Makes
be
sense.
indicative of my productions, is that head shape.
I seen that pole female, but you said they got that back on from
A co-own.
the co-own, right?
Hmm.
You did a pole breeding yourself,
No.
right?
So I sold that female. She was the second pick female out of that litter. I sold her, and the stipulation was I was going to get, at a reduced price, if I got second pick, second overall pick back off the litter, and and it was to an approved stud. We agreed on Poe, and that was the production that I chose.
Yeah, okay. Because that female was a hitter off of that litter. But me
Absolutely.
personally, I haven't seen a lot of hitter off of pole, so I'm almost wondering a
So
blood kick. You know what I mean?
so I have muscle tone in my pad, so maybe the muscle tone side clicked, but
That's what I'm trying to find out.
to me,
Not,
what I've seen from Poe is it's more of a, we've been spoiled by the internet, and we've also been spoiled by a lot of exotic blood that it shows itself really early. Like, you breed some,
Mhm.
is the lanky stage doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like when you're breeding like really small pockets and or really small exotics, the lanky stage kind of shrinks. Like when
Mhm.
you're breeding like traditional American bully blood, there is a lanky stage. You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to have a level of patience. So I feel like the internet has kind of spoiled us. And what we're finding now with some Poe offspring that are starting to pop up, like the dog Caesar. Also, I feel like the guy Billy Cummings has an exotic post stud, a Merle one. But
Merle, yeah,
they
yeah.
are start
That's
they're
us.
starting to come into their own later. You know what I mean? At the year mark, at the
Yeah,
18
yeah.
month mark, they're starting to really come in. So again, did some bloods show themselves early, some bloods,
Um,
but in terms of Poe, I've started to see it later.
well, I'm gonna say I could tell you this much. This dude, I forgot his name. He owned this pole daughter. I think he's in Louisiana. They call it
I haven't
Shifu or
not seen
something.
her, but
That's that dog just been consistent all the
mhm.
way till now. Like she didn't went through a lanky stage, and I do post that dog like nothing, man.
Hmm.
And I mean, and that's the only one that I seen until I seen your girl. So I was wondering if Poe produced just nice
Well,
females.
if I'm be honest with you, I there was a level of I was worried a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you know, early on, like 6 months, 6 weeks, when I chose her, she looked great. And then she did go through her ugly duckling phase. She always had the shoulders and stuff that's indicative of my camp. But them cheeks didn't start to pop, the girth didn't start to stick until she got a
Mhm.
little bit old, about ten months in. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, so again, like I said, it's a level of patience. Some bloods take longer. There are some I have lucky blood in my camp. There are some progressions pics of Lucky and what he looked like as a puppy versus what he looked like at 2 years old.
Yeah, it
There
was
are
a
some
scrawny dog, man.
yeah, some of Shamrock as well. And there are timestamps on there. You kind of got to wait on some of those bloods.
Yeah,
And
even what's his name in Rockefeller? He
Grim.
was a Grim was a scrawny ass dog
Hmm. Yeah,
until I
some
see
bloods
them,
take a while.
until they pop out with that, and it was like when people start seeing it was like all
Yeah.
different, like ball
But
game
you
with
know
that.
how it go. Lanky stage bad for business.
And bad for business.
Yeah,
That's where you hide them dogs, man.
yeah,
If you don't come out of that, hey,
yeah,
at home.
yeah. I see you later.
See you later. Yo, I think that too. A lot of breeders don't talk about that, and we don't show it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like how, like, because I don't understand. Like, you a breeder, right? You do a hen house breeding, so you know about dogs, right? You don't show the production, like show the journey of the dog. You don't show the story of the dog. But yet still you gonna sell me this dog for 8 grand or 10 grand and tell me to trust the blood. And then when that come over to me, I'm expecting this dog gonna look. This
So,
is the dog I'm
so
gonna show off to my friends, and then
that's
you tell me trust
interesting.
the blood. Like,
That's
bro,
interesting. You say that. I just sold a female off of my last breeding. I bred to the muscle tone, heavy muscle tone dogs, Gus. I
Hmm.
just sold a female off of that. In early discussions, as soon as I dropped the female off, I sent him pictures of the mom as a puppy, all the way up. I sent him pictures, all the stuff I had on the stud, just examples of the blood, what I mean, just so he knew what to expect, what I mean, so you can also have something to gauge where am I at, what I mean, not saying that it's going to be exact same, but if I can look at my dog and I can look at a picture of the mom as a puppy or the dad as a puppy, I can kind of gauge, and that's kind of what I do. Like I'll reach out to a stud owner. Like I bred to Oscar.
Hmm.
I bred to Oscar, and I asked Brian, "Hey, you got any puppy pics of Oscar? Any pics of Oscar at 6 months, 10 months?" I wanted to be able to see where I was, his litters or other litters. You know what I mean? And he's a great guy. He was willing to share that with me. You know what I mean? So I was able to kind of gauge where I was in that maturation process.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, but as I'm saying, you've been doing this since 20. It's a while, you know what I mean? But still, say upcoming breeder, right? But if you think about it, when like, how do you deal with customers when they start like they're in doubt? Like, how you deal with that? That's,
Again, transparency. I'm gonna show you what it is from
hmm.
jump. I'm gonna show you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say, hey, this is where we are. This is
Hmm.
where we're gonna be. Even when they ask where they want to pick the puppy, I'm gonna say, hey, I want to pick the puppy at this age. You know what I mean? They want to pick the like. I'm like, if you're purchasing, say if I end up holding on to a puppy, I have a little male left. He's 4 months old. I got one left. He's 4 months old, and if you're selling it to an experienced breeder, it's fine. They understand where he is. If you're selling it to someone that's new, um, they think that it's not so hot. So my thing is, you can spend some time to try to educate them on what exactly it is that they're getting. You can show them the progression or whatever it is. But if you're selling it to a pet home,
You ain't
they
got to
really
do
don't
none of
know the
that.
difference. You know
They
what I
don't.
mean?
They don't even care.
Yeah, they don't even care.
They
But
don't even care.
if you sell it to an experienced breeder,
Hmm.
they're fine. They might haggle you a little bit because it's 4 months. They know what position you're in. You know what I mean? But in terms of if it's a new breeder and all they see is the first pick puppies all on Instagram and they
Instagram.
see the pro pics and I show you, the little video of the dog that I in the space that I shoveled out in the backyard because we got
Mhm.
12 inches of snow or something. You know what I mean? Again, I think it's transparency, integrity, honesty. They just got to kind of believe you or not. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. But you all right? Question: like when you do a breeding, right, and you look at overall, and you pick yours, right? Do you go through the process like, yo, you would want this one to go to a show home, or you want this one could go to uh, like I don't know if you section it up like where these puppy you would like these puppies to go.
Um,
Like say me calling you, I'm like, yo, Jones, I'm interested in get something off of you. You know what I mean? You already know me already. I got experience in this.
mhm.
Like me
If you
personally, I
ask
would leave it
me,
up to you. Yeah.
I would say, hey, I think this one is going to be a little bit more on the extreme side, or this one
Yeah.
might be a little bit more showy. But again, it's you can see those things at 8 weeks, but you really not gonna see it until it's a little bit later. But just from experience and what I've seen in my
Hmm.
whelping box, sort of kinda. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think it's crazy that you would say this, but most people will understand what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Um, it depends on what you if are you picking for a show dog or you picking for to breed and to continue your camp. It will be great if both of those things were always the same.
Hmm.
But and I know that they aren't
Yeah,
always.
no, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, cause I had that same had that same conversation with Bill Right, and she was like, "Yo, these dogs, they gotta go to show homes. Like, and he's
Mm-hmm.
only one right here. She didn't want to put in a show home. You think it was a pet, and she
Mm-hmm.
kept it, and the dog still turned out. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
So
So, but at the end of the day, that's why I was asking you about that. If you're like sorted out that kind of where like you pick you like for this dog to go to this breeder or you know what I
well,
mean?
looking back at it, there are some productions that I've had that I actually wish that I would have made it a point to put them in show homes because they are that quality of bull. Um, let me my lights the lights just went off. Let me cut it back on.
Mhm.
I don't know if the power went out or what. I got a fire alarm going off in here. Let me I'm at this building. Let me hit you.
Uh,
I'm gonna chop off. I'll hop right back on.
all right, cool, cool, cool. Hey yo, you see, just a little interrupt, got interrupted, but anyway, but yeah, man. If y'all enjoying the chat, yo, if y'all want to interact with the chat, just please come over to the YouTube. Please come over to the Facebook. One or the two. Let's keep the chat active. Ask some questions. You know what I mean? Why y'all people acting shy? Y'all know the right. You know what I mean? Come over to the chat, man. What's up, Suave Cash? What's going on? Where my boy VMB at? He not in here? Instagram, if you're asking questions, I ain't gonna be able to see. I'm not gonna be able to see your questions if you ask question on Instagram. Let me check Instagram real quick. I can't even stroll up on this crap. Maryland Bullet Camp, what's going on? I can't even pronounce some of these. Yo, VMB, where you at, man? But yeah, we waiting on our boy to jump back in. What's up, mental? Chilling, waiting for our Jones to come back in. Yeah, man, this is a good chat. I like this. You know what I mean? This is our chat to be supposed to be running. I hope everybody's staying warm, man. It's damn windy over here, like real windy. This just look like you want to blow my damn roof off. The way how windy it is. Damn. Yo, you know what? Since he gone, let me go use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, damn. Hey, yo. Uh, what the heck? Again, man, if y'all ever story you want to tell, man, you want to promote your camp and all of that, yo, tap in with your boy, man. I want to hear your story. What? I want to share it too. So jump in the live. Yeah, Torpump, them jokers need to take a shower, bro. Uh, I ain't touching them jokers right now. Them pups need to take a shower. Yeah, man. But them tour pups are doing good, man. Doing real good. They got their ears done, everything looking good. Just waiting for it to heal up properly. And you know what I mean, push them out, you know what I'm saying? And waiting for this damn snow to go away, man. Like I got like we got 18 inches of snow, so we should have like it was melting, so it should be like around 12 inches down the backyard. So there isn't nowhere for me to take pictures or nothing like that. So came to bring them outside, nothing, man. But yeah, I can't wait for that to get some pictures of these dogs. You know what I mean? But yo, what's up? What's up with everybody, man? What's up with everybody? You know what I mean? Yo, join the YouTube, man. Join the the Facebook. Go on my you on my page right now. Go join that. You know what I mean? The link is on my page. If you want to interact with the chat, that's where you got to go to Facebook uh or YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah, waiting for Jones to drop back in. Okay, Jones is back in. What the heck, I can't. Hey yo, hey yo.
The power went out and it tripped the alarm up here in the building. We good.
Okay.
About to head
Uh,
back to where I was. What we was talking about, brother?
bro, he slipped me, but
I'm like, what the hell?
yeah, it be like that sometimes, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
your P's or your Q's, and then this damn
yeah.
like who
I had
clicked
my
the
little
first?
setup, man. My little phone was on the tripod.
Yeah, man, we gonna get back to it though. We gonna get back
Yeah.
to it. You know what I mean? But but quick question though. You think these dogs get addicted after a minute too? Like, how
Oh
do you
yeah,
gauge
absolutely,
yourself
man.
keeping dogs?
It's
Like,
addicting, man. And you have a litter, you keep one, you keep two, and then you look up and you're like, dang, I need to, move some stuff around.
but yo, question, right? You
Yeah.
have a litter and you see like two or three hitters in it, and you'll be like, yo, I can't. Like, how do you decide to let go of pup if you know what I mean? How do you decide to
Um,
let go of pup like that you really don't want to let go?
I mean, my thing is logistics. At some
Hmm.
point, something got to go, and to me, I just decide whether I want to keep a piece of it or not. And when I say that, I'm just saying in what type of contract.
Hmm.
If it's something I really want to keep, then I try to place it somewhere in some sort of housing agreement. A friend that's always been asking for a puppy or something like that, and I could just house it there. If it's something like a female, you know, and I just want something back off of it.
Quick question. Since you say that, all right, some people be like, yo, you always have this friend that don't want to spend no money with you, right?
Yeah,
You don't think those friends come in handy, like especially in this situation where you have something here to help you?
absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, you know your friends, so this is an expensive
Hmm.
hobby. So if you got a friend, if you got that cheap friend that you have, then you be like, hey, I got something that's right up your alley, brother. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like to be,
yeah.
hey, look, if I'm fully transparent, that's how I got into it. I am as frugal as they come.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how I got into it. Like I said, my good friend Nikos Brown, he was like, look, I know, you ain't wanting to go spend however much on this, but it's a great opportunity for you. And that's kind of how I
Mhm.
segued into this. You know what I mean?
Quick question before you go any further. I don't mess with bloods from different world. I don't know if you want to answer that question. You
What's
said
that?
what blood from those different worlds y'all think blend well.
What do you mean different worlds?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Does he mean like just different bloodlines, like
A different blood, I
muscle
guess.
tone, Rocco, whatever it may be?
I guess I probably that's where he does say different worlds, so he just kind of throw me off.
For me, if he's talking about that, that's kind of what I mean. That's what I would consider that as being.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I mean, my thing is, I've been on bully decks a ton. It's a bunch of it's some bloods that look like they work well with everything. Like GC has been bred to a lot of stuff, and he's had some consistency across the board. Brim has been bred to a lot of stuff. He's had some consistency. Um, Dax himself has been bred to a lot of stuff. He had some consistency. You know what I mean? So Muscle Tone has been bred to a lot of stuff. It seems that those characteristics shine through for generations. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of it's a lot of
Okay.
outcrosses out here.
He's saying ABKC and exotic blood blend. I've seen that being trending more.
I
Wait,
bred a
yeah.
Muscle Tone and Lucky kind of blood blend to in exotic blood, and I feel like I came out well. I've seen you know, if you consider Veneno exotic, he's been bred to a lot of different things.
So Palacio, yeah,
What's up, Palacio? Uh, GC has been bred to Crown Blood, 5150 Blood with great success. Um, 5150 is an example of exotic blood being bred. He's, I think, Phenom is back there. You know what I mean? So
I
that's an example.
I
Um,
s- I seen a 5150 bred to a standard.
yeah,
Dog just came out clean as hell though.
yeah,
Not what I was expecting.
yeah.
It looked like a
It's
classic.
yeah. It's trap. Would you consider trap that? Like I said, it's Veneno bred to GC. You know what I
GC
mean? Like
basically, yeah, basically.
so. I mean, I think like there are tons of different examples. A lot of people are showing the smaller ones, but there are
Mhm.
some examples of some bigger ones out there. You just got to do some research. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. So, as you say, you gonna do you gonna do another exotic breeding again, right?
So I actually I did one just now. I bred
Okay.
his name is Big Fella. He's owned by Ryan Ivy. He's all on the internet, Daily Grind.
Hmm.
They post him as well. I bred him to my master pole daughter. I plan on keeping a female off of that, and I bred my in-house production top and bottom female Raven. I bred her to an exotic stud. Um, I kept a male off of that. I plan on running those two together in the future. So it'll be Jones top and bottom with a little splash of exotic blood top and bottom, just for some balance in the
Yeah,
pet, and hopefully
definitely
to
want to
have
see
some more
that.
consistency in the offspring.
I definitely want to see that. Definitely, definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so but so we're gonna see you like any like shows that we could people could see your productions, and how do you like introduce people to your dogs if you do that anyway?
A lot of times I am, I exist in this space. It's 2026, so the
Hmm.
internet is a very big place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I could be in everybody's living room if I wanted to. You know what I mean? But
Most definitely.
I'm a man that wears many hats. I'm a, husband, a father. I'm a teacher. I'm a football coach, a
Hmm.
track coach. I'm also a dog breeder. So dog shows tend to take up a lot of a lot of my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Saturday when that is a really big day, what I mean, in my life. So I mean, I plan, and it is my real intent to pop out to some more shows, especially ones that are local. I've been around. I hit the meet and greets and things of that sort, but not necessarily a show guy, so to speak.
Hmm.
I like giving people show quality stuff. You know what I mean? I like people being able to go to the show with my dogs with their head held high. You know what I
But
mean? Like that is
but
just as valuable to me as me being there in person.
what about the people that really want a Jones production, but they want to put it in the ring, but they say Jones haven't been to the show, so how you gonna produce show quality dog and he's not even there to show? Like, what you would like to say
Um,
about those people?
the standard is written. They,
Good,
they they
good
don't they
answer.
don't they don't they don't
Good
speak the
answer.
standard over the loudspeaker at the
Hmm.
show. The standard is on paper.
No,
You know
all
what I
right.
mean? So I can read it. You know
All right,
what I
put it this way too.
mean?
Then what about? All right, question. You have a vision, right?
Absolutely.
Of how you want to create your dogs and the kind of dog how you want to. Well, your vision is still. Would you say your vision is still within the standard?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, there are size parameters, there are height. As far as the height, they talk about the type of build, but within that, there's room for creativity, so to speak. Whether it's color, whether it's the amount of bone, whether it's the amount of girth, the head shape, all of those different small nuances. There's room for creativity still. The standard isn't so rigid that like it is in other breeds. Like, if you breed two Rottweilers together, from my outside eyes, you got Rottweilers.
Not
From
wild.
someone with more trained eyes, they may be able to know. But with
Hey,
bullies, there's a little bit more variability.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask you too, because you know what? Let's not dip in that, because that could open a can of worms I ain't willing to deal with today.
Yeah.
Uh, Hey, Palacio said, "What's your favorite camp and who is your favorite breed in old school or new school?"
Um, just from the headpiece alone, I'm more of a, I would say, a new school fan of new school. You know, the old school headpiece, a little bit more
No,
more a
what he's
little bit
trying to
more
ask
muzzled than I
the
would like.
breeder
Uh,
in
um
general, like the breeder, new school breeder and old school breeder. What's your favorite?
um Muscle Merles brought me into it. Very, very innovative. He was based in Muscle Tone. So again, hats off to Muscle Merles, hats off to Bashar. So Muscle Merles kind of and the Muscle Tone kind of made me fall in love with the breed. So Bashar and Muscle Merles. But again, um, I love the structure um, and presence of Lucky as well. So I like Alex. And
But
then
you would say Alex, and I wouldn't consider Alex a new school breeder
no,
though.
no, no, no. I was
It's not for
saying
you.
old school, old school. You know what I mean? The old
Okay,
school blood.
okay, okay.
As far as new school blood,
Hmm.
um, there are camps that I admire for reasons.
Hmm.
Um, different reasons. Example, Palacio's on here. Palacio has great productions, but if I was going to speak to someone about something that I really enjoyed and admired about Palacio's camp, it would be his consistency and presentation. Um, Palacio has excellent presentation. It's very clean. It's very crisp. It's very consistent. That's something that as a camp I would aspire to go towards. Like, so if I said,
Yes,
man,
sir.
if I want to elevate my presentation, I would say, look to Palacio. You know what I mean? So, like that's he still has great dogs, but if I was going to say, hey, that is what I
Yeah, you
aspire
admire
to.
him for that specific reason.
Yeah, like I said, that doesn't mean that I don't admire him for other things, but I'm saying
Hmm.
like if you was playing a video game and you was doing a creator player and
Hmm.
one of them was presentation, I
Palacio
would
doing
I
that.
would put the Palacio there.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, I tell him that he's a master. He's a master when it comes to that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He's a master.
So one of the guys I met, first guys I met, I took my female to the vet. I had Lawanda with me, and it's by happenstance, say God don't make mistakes. I met Scott White of Blessed Beyond Bullies. We were both at the vet. We were waiting in the parking lot. I took my female out to use the bathroom, and he approached me. He was like, who are you? Who is that bull? I had Lawanda. Anybody that knows, she's special. And I told him where I was from, and he jokingly he said they don't have no bulls in Maryland, you know. and so we kind of forged a relationship from there. Um, Scott, in terms of his stick to itiveness, Scott, that he has stuck to it and continued to do what he does, and it's building, and you can see the work in his ped, you can see the work in his productions, and I remember way back us talking in 2019, talking about growing our page, growing our presence, and I see where he is now. He's really stuck to it, and his presentation is A1 at this time now. His productions are as well. That's someone else. Uh, um, like I said, it's a lot of people, but right now, coming into it, I've been telling my wife I need to buy a camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
need to step that portion of the game up. You know what I mean? Because perception is reality, especially when we are functioning in these types of spaces.
Question. Since you mentioned camera, you think video or picture? Which one you rather? Which one you think is best?
I think there's a place for both. I mean, clearly, video you can see movement. We're dealing with animals, so you want to see them move. So, a
Mhm.
video is great. But a lot of people say, "Oh, you can't fake a video." You absolutely can. Um,
That's why I
but
don't listen to people.
yeah, so but my thing is like, I asked to see pictures, I asked to see video, and to me, I want to see pro pics because it shows me that you have invested in your camp. It shows me that you want to show your best. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like ultimately, if I want to see your dog in the raw, I'm gonna ask you to video chat.
Yeah,
You know what
give
I
me
mean? Or I'm
give me
going
a
to come
call.
see it. I'm either
Yeah,
going to ask you to video chat or come see it. But I like Pro Picks. I like the fact that you took the time to show me the dog in your best light. If you was going on a date and the young lady didn't do her hair and her makeup was messed up or she didn't put deodorant on or whatever it may be, you wouldn't be happy. I would put your
I'm
best
leaving
foot
in the
forward.
track. I'm leaving in the tracks.
Yeah,
But
you know
yo,
what I mean.
question. Did you think is it that important in these days for especially for a breeder, up and coming breeder? You think it's very important for them to take that trip and go see the dog, put on the dog for themselves before they actually use the dog?
Yes and no. Yes
Hmm.
and no. I think that in order to actually know what you have to go see other dogs. So it wasn't until I went to a show that I can actually appreciate what I had in my camp because now I have an actual tangible thing to compare it to. I can say, "Oh man, my male is as big or bigger. My female is as nice or nicer." But once you've done that for the thousandth time, you know what I mean, it is what it is. Um
Hmm.
breeding is global, breeding is international, breeding is all over the country. So that is what shipping is for. So you know what I mean, like if I'm a breed to a stud in California, um it's not always possible for me to just drop everything, all of the different things that I got to do to get up and go and see that. That's why you do homework. To me, productions matter. So if I want to breed to this stud, uh I've had conversations with the owner.
Hmm.
I've seen the pictures, I've seen the videos, we've had a video chat, and the productions show what I want them to show. Ship
Hmm.
the box.
Makes
Ship the
sense.
box.
I'm
You
gonna tell
know
you
what
a
I
little
mean?
story. I'm gonna tell you a little story. I have this dude over in Kuwait, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got a dog over there that they're using in the US. A lot of people don't know about this dog, but they're using him in the US very, very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
This breeder, like the dude shipped me some frozen. Like he shipped me like almost 50, like 20 straws. He
Yeah.
shipped over for me to me. And I'm supposed to distribute them whenever they needed to be distributed, right?
Mm-hmm.
The what you call him, the dude that purchased the semen from him, I'm supposed to ship the stuff for him, and then dude gonna call me, ask me how the dog looked. I'm like, hold on, well, you think how I
Let me
own the
look in
dog?
this tube. Let me
Bro, I
tell
was
you.
like, bro, I got the straws, that's all I got. You know what I mean? But I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of conversation he had with the dog. I'm like, yo, bro, book a flight and go look at the dog, man. That
Yeah.
really got nothing to do with me.
But again, like I
You
said,
know?
it's it is a very old school mindset. You know what I mean? But again, even I can't even say that. I'm gonna go back to when I told you I was recently at the ABKC. Right?
Hmm.
They had magazines. I was sitting there looking at a magazine. I opened it up. They had a picture of the dog, a okay picture of the dog up there, and a paragraph that talked more about the owner than it did about the dog. And it was like Stud Magazine. And people would look through these magazines. It was in the ABKC. It was all these, and people would look through these magazines, and you're on the East Coast. You know what I mean? And you could breed to a stud over there based off the pictures you saw, based off the conversations that you had. People were still doing it. In 2026, we have video chat, we have emails, we have
Emails.
this, we have that. We have I can reach out to the owners of tons of dogs that and you could do those things back then too, but not at the level of accessibility we have now. So um I feel like again, why have all of this technology and accessibility at our fingertips and still be beholden to having to get on the plane? I feel like there's a place for that, but if you've
It's
checked all the boxes and chiefly you've checked the production box, there's nothing else for us to talk about.
Yeah, I understand you come from. Me personally, if I don't know you or nobody that I know you and never seen that dog before, you could guarantee I'm spending that little $200, man. I'm pulling up on you, man. I got to see for myself.
Okay,
You
so
know.
take this for example. Brim.
Hmm.
Say if you don't know Brim, you don't know Ashton, and you don't know anyone with a Brim dog, but
I'm taking a look
there
at him.
there are tons of them. There are countless Brim productions out here. Countless. Like you
You can't,
can't you
but
can't go to a show really
hold up,
without
brother.
seeing one.
Hold up, bro. You talking about Brim, dog?
Well, I'm just
You
giving I'm
can't
giving an
use him
example
as an
of a
example.
dog that is producing. I'm giving an example. That's why I'm saying productions reign supreme. Like even so, at the end of the day, if the dog is producing the characteristics that you find favorable, sometimes the dog doesn't even look like the qualities that it's throwing. Especially on
Yeah,
the female side, you got ugly ducklings that's throwing hitters. You know what I
true,
mean? Like,
true.
so what I'm saying is that productions ultimately reign supreme.
I'm gonna say this though. I feel more comfortable when I go
Yeah,
and see that the dog is actually the dog.
yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
and if I could go pick up the semen myself, I might well go down and go pick it up too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and again, I think that again, if you have the time, you have the opportunity to go
Opportunity,
do
yeah.
so. Um, I told you the dog was in Virginia Beach. It's a
Mm-hmm.
3 hour drive. It ended up being 4 hours coming back in the snow.
No,
But 3 hour drive, it made no sense for me not to go do that. But
makes sense.
when I bred to Chevy, he was in Wisconsin. That's
Yeah,
more of a 17, 18 hour trip to carry a full adult dog. It's not as easy
yeah,
just to
yeah,
jump
yeah.
on a flight. You know what I mean? I could have jumped over there to go see the dog and then brought the shipment back with me. But I trusted
Mhm.
what I saw, and I
Yeah,
made it
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. It just me, man. Like I want to do my research, so I don't wanna be blaming nobody for, you know what I mean. Think I
You
got
only
this
can
with
blame
everybody.
yourself. You sent the check,
Yeah,
brother.
you see what I'm saying. I want to
Yeah,
go see, man. Because at
yeah,
the end of the day, bro, like I'm gonna put it this way: I moved dog for a pretty little penny, so I build that in the price of me going to look at it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's why, you know what I mean. But it's just sometimes people comes out and they be like, "Yo, I bred to this dog," and sometimes my person has seen a dog, and I'm like, "Really?" You know what I
We
mean?
we've all seen dogs that don't necessarily fit the bill. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But to me, like example, I didn't see Chevy before I bred them, but I saw Beast Mode Bullies. I saw all of the stuff that they were producing. I believed in their camp. I believed in
Hmm.
their production. He was a young up and coming stud. The pedigree was intriguing. His phenotype matched exactly, what I wanted, and I got Tahoe.
Question:
What I mean?
you is it important for you to promote your stud and your female at the same time? Because a lot of
Um,
people don't promote female, but they promote the stud. You know somebody with a stud. They
I mean,
clear.
in order, in the stud you other people are using. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, so promoting the stud clearly, just by nature of the business, is more important. But
Why?
it's important because you're promoting your stud for other camps to use. When you're promoting your female, is for people to purchase your product. You know what I mean? Like, so example, if I promote my female, when there's a buyer coming, that's a real buyer that's looking for a puppy, he's gonna see the female. He's gonna say, oh, this is nice. He's gonna look at the pet, see how it's put together. That information is made available, but
Hmm.
it's not going to be made available at the same clip repetitively as a stud, because you're marketing the stud to the masses. Hey, you know what I mean? Because somebody could use your stud any day, every day, 365 days a year.
Makes
Somebody
sense.
can't use your female but once every
Yeah,
6 months. You know what I mean? So
I see.
you make that information available, but I don't think it necessarily makes sense to promote the female at the same clip unless you're campaigning her and you want her to,
Hmm.
you know.
It just the thing about it, like people, I find it kind of weird. Like people don't even promote the female. Like me, I'm promoting everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm promoting everything because at the end of the day, I learned this. You need that female to build that camp. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
And I call my stuff line bred Lawanda. And I so you know what I mean, my dog, I'm not saying it's, I mean, her father is Law Magoo's son Law, but I built my camp around that female. So I'm it's line bred Lawanda. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So all of my stuff is off of that tree, her loins, so to speak.
Hmm. Makes
But
sense.
in terms, so I rarely even keep males. You know what I mean? Like I'm big on keeping the best females out of my litter. You know what I mean? Because if a stud's not working, he's a pet. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
not anti-pet, but if he's not working, he's a pet. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's more food you got to feed. X,
Yeah,
Y, Z.
and it's
Get
cool.
expensive
You know what I
after a
mean?
minute.
And I talked to I'll bring up Brian, Oscar's owner.
Hmm.
I've been to it I think 3 times now. But the first time I went to complete the breeding, just kind of picking his brain, he told me he had been breeding for a long time. Like he's been in this game for a very long time. And he was like, when Oscar hit the litter box, he saw that he had something different.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so to me, he's like, he's seen hundreds of puppies, maybe 1,000 puppies. But when that one hit the litter box, it was different. You know what
Different.
I mean? And up until this point, Tahoe has been the most different puppy I've seen in my litter box, but he is my litmus test. I'm waiting to see
Something better than that.
something better than that. And I kept my little exotic puppy because he was,
Hmm.
that was the whole purpose of that breed. And I had males. I didn't have a female to keep. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? He's very nice, but different blood. But Tahoe was a special puppy. I might throw him in my story after this. He was a very, very special puppy.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So you would say that Jones Arc is in the what you call it, in the realm of trying to create another stud right now. Then basically,
Um,
or if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're okay still.
I mean, if it comes in the whelping box, then of course that's the holy grail, having a lineup of great studs that's working. You know what I mean? That's the holy
Hmm.
grail of the business portion of this thing.
Hmm.
But in terms of really, I'm in the phase of just trying to lock in the characteristics that I find favorable. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I feel like if you know my camp, if you know my stuff, the shoulder setting, tight skin, all of that, muscle definition, all of that is indicative of my camp. Um, now, again, I want to change the headpiece up a little bit. It's nice headpieces, but I just want it to be a little bit more round, a little bit more smushed. Still able to breathe and all that, of course, and continue to throw some paint on it. You know what I mean?
Most
Like
definitely.
paint it up a little bit.
Most definitely. Most definitely. But but you already acquired the structure that you wanted already. So now you can start painting, basically.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So, people always say, I'm not worried about color, structure before color, but at the end of the day, you wouldn't buy a brand new car with
With
the
no paint.
with no paint, with the primer still on it. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because yeah, it's always the same. Oh, get the structure, then you know what I mean. But
But if your ultimate goal is, like, example, I give you a perfect example. Trap is one of the most beautiful dogs. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like R2 is a very, very beautiful dog. I love him. But you know what I mean? Aesthetically, just the color, the pop, the try, all of that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you could, if you bred to a dog that, and you ultimately you wanted like a trap type dog,
mhm,
you could be 2 or 3 breedings away, because you don't have any color in your pet or whatever it may be. And breeding is a long hobby. You know what I mean? Like I listen, I think it was a something on TikTok I saw, and it said something about you only get 75 summers. Talking about
mhm.
life, you only get 75 winters. You know what I mean? And when you think about it, it's like breeding. Them summers, your life clock ticking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
long do you got? You know what I mean? Do you
You
want to
know what I
be?
mean?
I'll probably always have a dog, but do I don't want to be 70 out here doing this, or whatever.
Yeah,
So it's like I want to get to the end product, and be able to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
You said end product though, but you think that you realistically think that a end product is in the awakening right now?
I mean, not I wouldn't necessarily, everybody always is looking for more. You know what I mean? Everybody always looking for what's next. But I'm just talking about, I'm comfortable. If I was to step away right now,
Mhm,
you know, I would be comfortable with what I had, what I mean? But at the end of the day, while I'm still immersed in it,
mhm,
I'm looking for more. I'm still interested in growth. You know what I mean? And everybody is. Uh
mhm.
but if I had to step away right now, I would be cool with where I'm at and what I've done. You know what I mean? Like if people were to do yard walks, and it was 10 random camps, I have full confidence that, Jones wouldn't be, last.
Yeah, but all right. So, have you ever had that puppy that got away? That one that got
Um,
away, you'll be like, damn.
I did sort of, but I got her back. I
Okay,
went
oh,
I
you
went
pulled
on
that
ahead and got
off.
her back. You know what I mean? I did, but I got her back. And again, I haven't been doing this for that long. So some of the nicest things that I have that I'm not going to keep, I
Hmm.
try to keep a piece of it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I
yeah,
try to keep a piece of it. You know what I mean? Like, so I build a business relationship with those people,
yeah.
and I
Hmm.
try to keep a piece of it. I a friend of mine said, you got to leave some room for the other person to eat too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I just build a business relationship and leave some room for them to eat too.
yeah. Me, my first litter, I thought it was my like this litter that I have right now. I think is my best litter, but the first litter, I never produced nothing like that until I produced this one
Yeah,
because I bred to this blue blood. You remember you said some blood just move slow,
yeah,
man. I bred this dog, man, and I had like six puppies, man, and I was like, yo, these puppies just not looking it, bro. Like I'm like,
yeah,
nah, they gotta go, bro. And first
yeah,
couple offer I got, man, I got rid of them, man. Like
yeah,
2,500, 3 grand. I was like, man, they could go. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I wasn't turning down nothing.
yeah,
Man, like a year and a half later, man, I seen one of them when I went to Texas. I'm like, Jesus.
yeah,
I was like, that's my dog. He was like, yeah, remember that
yeah,
puppy you sent that? I'm like, nah.
yeah,
I was like, but me, like, I just started breeding. I don't know better, bro. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? But those puppy was, I think even if I looked out to her, what you call it, a more established breeder, they probably would told me like sell them dogs. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you
Now me
definitely,
looking
because
back on it,
sometimes
yeah,
that transition is amazing. I've seen like some transformation Tuesday posts, and I'm like, oh man, you a strong cat, because I would have let that rock. You know what I mean?
bro.
Like
I
I'd let
was,
that go.
I think about it though, and I thought I was going into the. All right, I have a blue son, right?
Hmm.
Grand Champion Blue. The same year that Blue was produced, I bred to Blue.
Hmm.
It is this Shamrock female that I had. You know what I mean? And I did the breeding, but I'm saying the puppy does look not right. So when I sell a puppy, I sell a female as well. I got mad and I sold a female as well. I'm like, I'm going a whole different route. But me, I got the Shamrock female, like a direct Shamrock female, big, nice, and I mean, but I was like, nah, I should have got some decent puppies, and I mean, but me not knowing what I know now, I should have never got rid of that female,
Yeah,
you know. But I'm saying you learn. This one thing in this bully game, what I found out, you always got to be a student of the game. You just have to, because if you ever think that you made it, trust me, you're not there yet.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Well, it's levels to everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
If you have any choice of a free stud credit, who would you use and why?
Um, if you would have asked me that, a year or two ago, I would have just named a random stud. Now I kind of breed based on need for whatever female it is. You know what I mean? Because you can't just slap any. It's some studs that that's kind of hitters. They work with a lot of stuff. But for me specifically, I kind of, if the female needs this, I'll breed to that. If the female needs this, I'll breed to that. Any stud. I mean, I had a brim credit. I let it expire. You know what I mean? Uh, and again, I was in search of head pieces. I had bone mass and dome and all of that. And I went in a different direction. Again, I'm a fan of muscle tone. I would have loved to breed directly to Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
I would
Man,
have.
what about Apollo, man?
So it's, I like Apollo. Apollo is in a lot of nice pads, man. He's in a lot of nice pads. I think that he's a finisher. Like
Hmm.
he's I think that you breed that Apollo towards the end, and you're gonna get some finished products. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like, but I if I would love to breed directly to Bean. You know what I mean? Like, it's a, it's a picture floating around the internet of him beside Rocco stacked up beside
Yeah,
each
I
other.
have
And
that picture. I have
man,
that
that
picture
that
of my family.
that is the
I have that picture.
that is the
You
bull. You
talking
know
the
what I
one in the
mean?
park?
Huh?
The one in the park?
No, they're it's like a red floor. They're in a venue.
Then I don't have that one. I
They're
have the
they're
one
in a
in the
venue.
park.
I post it on my story every now and then. So I would like to breed directly to Bean. Apollo's still here, right here. So I mean, I could still make that happen. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to.
Mm.
You know, early on and
What
when
do you
I
think
first
about
start.
Lester?
You say who?
Lester.
Lester's nice. I have a she passed away, but I had a one of my Jasmine's littermate sisters was bred to a Schmiegel son.
Mm,
Um, but I like Lester. You know what I mean? Uh, but Bean is my all time favorite. I like Casa too, but I feel like Bean
that's
has a
long.
better body of work. You know what I mean?
Mm, okay, okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, Bean. Yeah, Bean is he's nice, but uh, Apollo. I think that's the best dog in his prime. That's the best dog Bashar had. You know
Yeah.
what I
Well,
mean?
if you see my little female now, she. If I told you, oh, this is an Apollo daughter, you would believe my little Poe daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just from the black initially, but you know, what I mean,
Hmm.
kind of very similar structure wise, shoulder setting, little chest. You know, what I mean, that actually probably would be a very nice breeding.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's a nice, real nice dog, man. I'm like,
yeah,
yo, in his prime, yeah, most definitely. But yo, bro, it's almost 2 hours up here, man. I mean, I'm glad he came up here and you talk your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Most
yeah.
definitely appreciate it. You came on here, made the time to come on here. We know we had set to yesterday, tomorrow, but you already know I ain't competing against the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely, man.
You know what I mean?
I definitely appreciate the invitation. Always good to help a fellow brother out and
Most
you
definitely
know,
appreciate it.
exposure, good conversation, good fellowship, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. And just guess what happened, man? It's not gonna be the first and last you're gonna be on here. We're gonna need a repeat for
Yeah,
sure, for
absolutely.
sure. You know what I mean?
A puppy
But
update.
a puppy, most definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely, most definitely, most definitely. You know what I mean? As again, man, I say, man, thanks for everyone that joined into the chat. You know what I mean? We do this right now. I don't even have a schedule. You know what I mean? I'm just taking the interviews as I get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as I'm saying, hope y'all tune in for the next one, man. Yo, Jones, you want to do an outro?
Yeah. Again, man, Jones of Jones Arts Productions, located in Southern Maryland, man. I have some great breedings coming up. I have a China boy breeding coming up. I just bred to the up and coming big fella. Check me out on Jones Arts Productions too on Instagram and Jamari Jones on Facebook. Hope to see you guys soon.
Most blessed. You already know, man. I'm Dan Gaza from the Dan Gaza Bully Podcast. Please like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube, and also follow on the Facebook. You know what I mean? But thanks everyone to come in and show y'all support.
All right.
Blessings. I'm out.